How do you think Saturday's game and the close call will help you guys if you do?
I thought the way the events happened in that game on Saturday was really a good testament to the hard work that our boys been putting in to prepare for moments like that. It's really hard to really copy that. I mean, you got a bunch of young players out there in a very hostile environment, awesome environment to add that. But I thought our players responded at the time that they had to. They experienced some lows during the course of that game, and they were able to overcome that. I mean, that is a true testament of growth that our players are experiencing right now. So to be able to go through something like that, come out battle tested and still really come out with a victory out of that environment, I think we're going in the right direction.
What was it like getting woken up at 4 a.m.? Were you part of that crew that got air horned up in the middle of the night?
No, I slept through that. I don't know anything. This is my first time hearing about that, actually. No, but I think our guys, just having to have the patience during the course of the day. You got a night game in State College, and we're sitting there, we're looking at each other for hours upon hours, anticipating a big-time ball game. I thought our players really handled that well, in spite of that. And when it was time to kick that ball off, they were definitely ready to play.
Curtis Samuel, how's he coming along? Seems like obviously Ezekiel's the bell cow, but how close is Curtis to getting more playing time?
Curtis is ready to play. It was just those situations where it was a hard-fought game where I thought the guy that had to be in there was in there, and that was Zeke. He's got my trust in all phases of the game. I trust him to run the ball, protect the ball. I trust him to protect the quarterback. I trust him to make plays when the ball's not in his hands, and he's probably the most complete back in my room right now that can provide that type of comfort during the course of a hostile game like that. But Curtis Samuel is definitely a young man that we have to get in the fold more. And he is a very explosive player, averaging double-digit every time he touches the ball. So was that the time and place? I don't know. You live with that, but I definitely know that he can provide some explosive value to this team, and we have to get him involved.
Talk about part of the protecting the quarterback that you were talking about with Zeke. How's he come along in that part of it? How good is he at that part?
Well, I'll tell you what. He's really good. He's a very physical football player, and if he can target a defender, that defender's going to feel it. I mean, he's very explosive on contact. He missed some on Saturday. There was times where he didn't do so well. So we just got to try to iron out the inconsistencies as far as, his execution. But as far as his ability to be able to do it, it's very elite. Very elite.
He had one where he absolutely stoned a guy, and then the guy got back up and he put him back down. Do you guys show that to the rest of the room to say this is how it's done?
Absolutely. That is the culture that we try to support. We are a 4 to 6 second football team and of relentless effort. And I think when contact was made, he had about 2 more seconds left on that clock, and he found a way to finish it. So that's the way he's trained, and that's what we expect. But again, remarkable play by him, no doubt about it.
Specifically in the situation where in overtime they score first and you're sending an offense onto the field, that if you don't score 7 points, the game's going to be over. Mm-hmm. Every time you touch the ball, you want to score.
Absolutely.
But it's a little different than if we don't get in the end zone, the game's going to be over.
Absolutely.
With the young guys you have, that environment, just how did you feel sending them out there, and then how did they respond?
Oh man, I don't think I want to expose how I really felt at that moment. But you hope that when you put a team on the football field that you have them prepared. All right, you have them prepared for moments like that. You cannot simulate that in practice. You cannot, but you can create those scenarios for them to where they have to mentally focus in on that, and hopefully it carries over into a game setting. I do know this, in spite of all that, there's nothing like looking in a player's eyes, all right, to find comfort as a football coach. And I just so happened to see JT Barrett's eyes at that moment. And I'll tell you what, I got all the confidence that I needed that he was going to at least at that moment give everything that he had to try to put us in a situation to win that ball game. And it turned out that that was the case. So when you see that coming from some young football players that we have right now, you can't hope but to get really excited and anxious to see what the future holds for this football team.
Stan, when you send guys out there like that, is it, as a coach, everything's riding on that next sequence of plays? Is there a hole in your stomach? What is the actual physical feeling as the kind of the season's on the line, so to speak? Because you've done what you can do.
Oh wow! Is there words in the dictionary to really describe that hole? No, it's an amazing feeling. For me personally, it's a feeling that I wish people can experience. Outside of the sport, it's a very unique feeling knowing that you're actually going through something that has a major impact on a common goal amongst young men, and you're sharing that moment with the young men that you go to work with every single day. It's indescribable what that feeling is. But to see our young men respond, execute, and find a way to win the ball game, again, is incredible, and those are the memories that you'll never forget as a football coach.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off.
No, it's okay. And it's just, again, exciting for what the future holds with these young men.
How do you know when a team's learned lessons from a close call as opposed to just them saying, "Hey, yeah, we had a close game, but we didn't really gain anything from it"? How do you know that?
You don't know. You have to really press pause with our boys and help them reflect on those moments. They're still young men, and they can take some moments for granted. So it's up to us as coaches to press pause, reflect, and really point out some key points that can be detrimental to their growth in the future. So Coach Meyer does a phenomenal job of that, in a team room setting. And, as unit leaders, we're responsible for bringing those things up, and you can illustrate it through the film, and they tend to get it, and when they get it is when it turns into execution, and it's, a positive effect from there on out.
What was the biggest thing lacking the other night from the negative side of it? I mean, what was not getting done that y'all would, when you press pause and go back and look at it, you'll stress?
Well, we weren't always executing our fundamentals. To be honest, to sit there and say that, to give Penn State credit, they had a phenomenal game plan against us, and that is a stout defense, and they showed up and played extremely well. To give them credit, but with our preparation, we were prepared, and we had those guys in situations to have success. And in the course of a high-intensity game like that, you tend to, let your emotions get in the way sometimes of your fundamentals. And they start to press, and they want to do well, and they're pleasers. And in the process of doing that, they make mistakes, and we didn't always execute it the way we want, and we need to become more consistent in that if we want to be the offense that we're capable of becoming.
You're the offensive guy that we get to talk to this week, though. I mean, like we were talking to a couple other players, it looks, especially when Penn State went to their blitz package and things like that, it really discombobulated some guys. I mean, what do you draw from that, knowing that Illinois may have a totally different, approach?
Well, that's the thing. The one thing that is normalcy for us in our preparation as an offensive staff and as an offensive unit is that what we see on film in our preparation, we can pretty much guarantee that that's not what we're going to see on Saturdays. So you go prepare a team knowing that. Sometimes you have to practice against, self-contained, scenario-created, looks. Sometimes that's not always easy. You're not always going to be exact from sometimes what you see on a Saturday. So, we have to make sure that our players are executing with fundamentals. When things are going crazy around them, their fundamentals have got to be key. And as we walk away from that game, even still, we were more sound fundamentally. I do believe we would have had more success.
That expression that JT had that gave you such confidence, is that his typical look, or was it even more focused than usual given what was at stake?
Well, JT is a very serious individual anyway, but this young man was experiencing some angst, some frustration during the course of the game, and that's a different look from when you have an extreme amount of confidence about yourself. And it was just at that moment where you can tell he put everything aside. You know, all the previous plays, all the bad decisions, all the, you know, lack of execution. He put all that stuff aside for that moment, and you could tell in his eyes he was ready to try to help us win a ball game.
Limited this week a little. Is that going to have an impact, JT? On like how you guys approach things, or coming off a tough game like that, you might want to ride the momentum. Or...
JT has always been a guy who knows how to prepare. You know, just think about him getting thrown into the fold that he's in right now. You know, with very limited game reps. So it's a testament to what he does off the football field, and he'll be fine. He's a technician. He's very serious about his business, and he'll study every single thing he needs to study to be prepared on Saturday.
He says that Illinois is vastly improved. Just what
Absolutely.
Do you see?
You know, they've always been very athletic. You know, but you can definitely see the physicality coming out of that defense right now. They run around, they hit, and they do a great job of putting their players in positions to make plays. I mean, they're trying to make plays on defense now instead of just survive the moment. So our players have got to be ready. We've got to make sure that, our quarterback has a sense of comfort in the pocket. And we got to make sure that we're putting our offensive line in situations where they can have success at the front. And if we do those things, we'll be explosive.
Stan, real quickly, how do you keep direct snap plays to somebody other than a quarterback from becoming predictable on where the ball's going? And Coach Meyer even talked about that a little bit today. About it looked like they did a pretty good job of scouting you guys and knowing what plays. You can see that on video, I'm sure. But
it was always in the run game. It's always going to be hard to account for the quarterback. All right, so when you run the ball, you're always thinking in terms of box count. Okay, and formationally, if you can stretch people out of the box, okay, and provide a one-back look but a two-back run threat with your quarterback being included, often enough that poses defensive schemes a hard time trying to get the proper number to account for that quarterback. So I guess at times we don't care if they know it's coming.
Yeah.
Coach,
Thanks,
thank you very much.
No problem.
Thanks, Dan.
All right.